So, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to today's class. We will continue from where we stop. Recall in our last class, we were able to set up our automation framework from scratch. We were able to set up our folder structure, added our nugget packages. Firstly, to set up your automation framework, you have to download your Visual Studio, which you all downloaded. You also need to integrate your Specflow, which you have done. You also need to set up your create your projects, which you have done. You set up your folder structure, which you have done. Add your nugget packages, right? Set up your hooks class and your feature file class. This is your host class where you have your hooks folder where you have your base test as well as your step definition. Okay, your step definition and your page objects. This is the folder, this is a class. So, and in our last class, we were able to, write the first in our scenario, which is PrimeSoft homepage, right? So we're able to write up an automated test that can navigate. So the feature file that we have here says giving user navigate to PrimeSoft. So here we have BBC, but we'll change it to PrimeSoft, as you know. So we'll use the BBC for a demo. So this is a PrimeSoft, right? So when we run this test, it was able to navigate us to PrimeSoft. Okay. So let's run it again and see what happened. So it is running now. As you can see, this is our PrimeSoft and it's going to close now. Right, so it has closed. Because the reason why it just navigates us to the PrimeSoft and closes was because there was no other step. You can see other step was commented out. So let's look at our feature file. When I right click and click on go to definition, so you can see our feature file. This is our constructor. This is our method navigate. Okay, that navigates us to the URL. So if I hold down my control and use my mouse to click on navigate, it will take me to our page objects. Okay, so you can see the method here. You can see the method here, okay, in our page objects, right? That is navigating to URL. So what we want to do today is let's go to our Azure bot setup, right? So we want to automate this particular story that says contact us. And as you can see, the story, the acceptance criteria says, given that I am on a PrimeSoft user, given that I'm a PrimeSoft user, when I click on About Us on the header, I am redirected to About Us page, and I can view Contact Us on About Us website. So this is the additional information. Okay, so what we want to do for automated testing is we want to go on the website, right, which we already have a step definition and we already have that line which says given a navigator URL. Okay, we want to click on About Us, okay, and we want to view this page. All right, so yeah, that is what the story says. So then when we click on About Us and we're able to view this, okay, that means, and our test run and pass, that means we have successfully automated that particular story. Okay, now let's go back to our feature file. All right, so let's go back to our feature file. As you can see, you can click on here. So let's see. So the next thing we're going to uncomment this one. The next step will be even navigate to the URL, right? When user clicks, when user, okay, clicks on About Us, okay, About Us, all right, on the header menu, okay. So what is our then? Then user
can easily,
or then user can view, or then user must view the about, about
Or
us. Is it about contact us, right?
Contact
contact
us
us.
page.
About us page.
Is it
About.
about us or contact us? Okay.
Let's go back and see the story. That's why you always go back and see the story. So the story says, when I click on About Us, then I can view Contact Us page on the About Us page. So we can view Contact Us on the About Us page. So now, when we click on About Us, right, this is About Us page, but we can see Contact Us.
Contact us.
Yeah, this is the Contact Us, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that not what the story says?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry?
Also made some additional comments that you
Yeah.
can also view.
So additional contact us section should have the organizational business number, the email, and business office working. So we'll see, this is what we should see. Okay.
Yeah.
And we should see business hour as well. Okay. Right. So we want to click on it. Yeah. We want to click on it. What we want to perform is, right. We want to, let me go back to the homepage. We want to navigate to the homepage. We want to click on About Us. Okay. And we want to come to this page. And then we want to assert that this and this. We want to assert that this and this business hour, right, is visible on this page. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back. And this is what is called Contact Us and Business Hour. Okay. So we'll go back to our step. And user must view the About Us page because that is the About Us page. And we want to also validate, and user can view the Contact Us section, right? Section. Then what is the last one? And user can view the, is that business hour?
Yes. Business hour.
Business hour. Business hour. Okay. Business hour section. So those are the things we want to validate. Okay. So now we've written the step from our, right, from our user story. You can see we've covered the acceptance criteria, which says giving user, given I am a PrimeSoft user, when I click on About Us, so as a PrimeSoft user, you need to navigate to the PrimeSoft, which we already have the step for that, okay? When I click on About Us, we'll write a code that will click on the About Us, and I'm redirected to the About Us page. We will validate that we're on the About Us page. How do we validate that we're on the About Us page? We are validated that we're on the About Us page, okay? When you see our approach, okay, our mission, our vision, our mission, you know that they are talking about PrimeSoft, isn't it? So when we see PrimeSoft is more than just a consulting company, this is about PrimeSoft. So we'll validate, right, that this is visible, okay? And that means we're on the About Us page. And we'll also validate that this Contact Us is here and the business hour is here, okay? So we can choose to validate this and this separately. We can choose to validate it as one, okay? So now let's go back to our code, okay? So record that when we created this one, all right, when we created this, I told you that because it's your first time for this particular scenario, okay? So because it's your first time, when you right click, right, you click on define, right? Once you've defined, you click on create for, because it's your first time, right? Now that you've done that, for this second one, do not create again because you've already created under the same scenario. Note, under the same scenario, do not create again, right? Because you've created before. So under this same, not under the same scenario, under the same feature file. Under the same feature file, do not create again because you already have a step, you've already have a step definition created for this feature file. So whatever scenario you are writing here, when you right click and you click on define step, click on copy to clipboard, right? Another way you can do it is right click and click on what? Go to definition, right? So when you, the difference between the other one, let me show you something. Let me say no. So the difference between this the difference between define steps is that it will not define, it will give you the step definition of all the steps in your scenario that you've already written. Can you see? We'll have when user clicks on About Us on the header menu, right? Then user must view the About Us page. Then user must view the Contact Us page. And user must, can you see all of them? It has defined all of them, right? If I copy to clipboard, if I click on this, right, and then go and paste it on my step definition, right, that means I have defined all my step definition. So this one does everything. Now you can decide to untick it. Let's say you don't want to, you want to define just one. You can decide to just untick, and untick this one. So this one that is ticked is the one that you want to copy. So when I click on copy clipboard, it would only copy this one, just this one that is ticked. But if I want to copy all of them, the tick comes by default anyways, right? Do you get what I mean? But if you want to do it one after the other, right? For beginner, I would advise you do it one after the other. When you get familiar with it, you can now define it all at a time. Okay, so you don't get confused. So if you want to do it one after the other, which I am going to do one after the other, I can right click on this particular step. Now I can right click, click on go to. Okay, you can see it has defined that particular step. I can click say yes. I've copied it just by saying clicking on yes, I've copied it. Right. So what I will go do is I will go to my step definition. All right, click on it and open it. Now look, be mindful of these curly braces when you are pasting it. Be careful of the curly braces. You can see this curly braces is a curly braces for your name space. Look at this curly braces. You can see where it ended. This is the curly braces for this public class, your PrimeSoft homepage step definition. This is the curly braces. This is where it ended. So this curly braces for this method, this is where it ended. So where this one ended, click on in front of it and click on enter. You can decide to give it space by clicking on enter again and then paste. Right. So you can see this and this is still together. The curly braces for this class step definition is still together. So what did I do? I pasted it inside this class, but not on this one, not on this method. I pasted it inside this class. You can see where I pasted it. Right. I've defined that one step. I've defined just that one step. Right. Now you've done your step definition for just one. If I do all of them, you will be like, how did I do this? But I'll take it one after the other. By the time I do it over and over and over again till we get to the last point, you get the gist of it. Okay, good. So I've defined that one step. What is the next thing to do? Okay, let me save. What is the next thing to do? The next thing to do, like I said, okay, is go to your page objects. So the next thing to do is go to your page, go and copy your element. Okay, once you've copied your element, go to your page object and save it. Once you've saved it on your page object, okay, so go to your page object and save it. Okay, once you saved it on your page object, right, you've saved the elements you've copied from the website on your page object. You name it properly. Once you've done that, you'll come to the bottom of it and call the method. Then come to your page, you create a method for it. Come to your page object, your step definition and call the method. Run that step, it will pass. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So now we'll go to our page object. We'll go to our website. What's this? We'll go to our website. Okay, now we want to copy the elements, okay, of this about us. How do we do it? We'll right click. We'll click on inspect elements. Okay, you see what I did? I right clicked and click on inspect elements. So when you right click and click on inspector, sometimes this thing that is here, don't get confused if you see it by the side for your own. I like it at the bottom. Okay, you can decide to leave it by the side. This is how yours might appear. So your own might come out this way. Okay, don't get confused, it's still the same thing. Okay, you can decide if it's at the bottom here, you can decide to bring it to, because as you can see, the website is now in a different format. Okay, so you can bring it to the bottom, right? You can bring it to the bottom. You can see when I click on these three ellipses, you can see you can choose to put this element by your left-hand side. You can decide to float it. You can decide to, depending on how you want to dock it. So I will dock it at the bottom. Can you see? Now, good. So once you've done that, what we want to inspect, the element we want to inspect is about us, because we want to perform a click on it. Okay? How do you do that? You come here, you can see after this, by the left-hand side, you can see this one, select an element. You can see when I hover on it, it will say select an element in the page to inspect it. So I click on it. Once I click on it, it becomes that blue, okay, or purple, right? It becomes blue, right? I can now go to this one. You can see it's been highlighted again. I click on it. It will show me the element. Can you see? This is the element, right? So when I right click on that element, okay, and go to copy, and then come to, you can copy by either by experts, or you can copy by CSS selector. Okay, so let's do copy by experts. When you click on copy by experts, okay, so to view the element you've copied, you can do Control F. Okay, hold down Control F and then paste whatever you've copied on this page. You can see it here. Paste it. You can see the element that I've copied. Can you see the element? And when you look at the element, you can see 1 of 1. Okay, you can see 1 of 1. It's 1 of 1 means if it is 1 of 2, you can use it so long as it comes first. Or if it is 1 of 20, you don't want to use it. Okay, so you can see 1 of 1. When I click in front and then click on enter, you can see about us highlights. Okay, so now this is the element we will use to interact with this website from our automated test. Okay, so what do we do with this element? We've copied it already. We'll go back to our automated test framework. Okay, we'll go to our page object. Right, now that we are in our page object, what do we want to do next? We want to save it. Okay, we want to save it. That's what we want to do next. And how do we save it? So we save it by calling it, giving it a name. Okay, see, this one is a method. So we're going to push it down. Okay, so under this particular one, you can see this public prime soft method. We're going to click on there and click on enter and give a space. Right, so from here, from this space, from line 22, is where we want to start storing our elements. From this place down is where we want to start storing our elements, and we'll be writing our method, okay, from here down. Okay, so now we want to store our elements. And how do we want to store it? Right, we want to store it by using a private access modifier, because we're just storing our elements. The reason why we're using private access modifier is that we just want only the methods, right, and class on this particular class to only access our elements. Okay, so we'll now say private, okay, by. Now, this is where you give a variable name to that element. So it's always good to name it very well. Right, if you go back on the website, you can see it's about us. About us what menu? This is about us menu. Okay, so when you go back to our test, we will now name it. Because it's a variable name, okay, so we'll always start start by small letter. Okay, we'll name it about okay, us menu. Note that there's no space in between it. And after the first one is small letter. Okay, so every other words is now starts with capital letter. You can see about A starts with small letter, you start with capital letter, and menu start with capital letter. You can say about us header menu. You can put header. So we'll know that is the header. About us header menu. Okay, we'll give space and we'll write equal to. Then we'll now say click on write by again. Okay, so by this by is by how did you copy that element? Recall we copied it by expert. So when you type in by, you click on dots and then you select by what method you copy the expert, by what method you copy the element, and we copied it by what expert. Note that you can get the elements by length test, by name, by partial length test, okay, by tag name, by expert, by CSS, by class name, okay, by ID. But we'll copy that by what? Expert. Okay, we'll click on expert and we'll click on enter. Okay, now you will now put open and close brackets. Inside the open and close bracket, you will put your quotation mark, right? Because we are storing this element as a string and we are saving it on the About Us header menu. So what you do next is to paste that element you've copied from your website. Can you see? We've pasted the element we copied from our website and you will end it with what? Semicolon. Okay, now we've stored the element here. Can you see this is the element? And we've assigned this element, we assign the value of this element to this variable name. Okay, About Us header page. So this variable name now represents the About Us. Whenever we call this About Us variable name, this is what we are calling. Okay, remember we did it when you were assigning your variables, okay, or different kind of data type when you are assigning value to variable. That is exactly what we're doing here. Okay, now we've stored it here. So now, what is the next thing we want to do? Record that. I said, when you copy your elements and you've stored it, right, the next thing you need to do is to write a method, okay, that will either perform a click or perform a send key. Now, what do we want to do? We want to perform a click, okay? And how do we perform a click? You perform a click by writing a method. You can see here, we wrote a method, okay, that will click on, that will navigate to this website. So we want to also write another method that will click on this one. So how do we do that? We'll come here, we'll click on enter, we can give space, enter twice, and then we'll start again. Public, because the reason why we're giving it public access modifier is because we want to be able to call this method from our step definition. We want the step definition, right? This step in our step definition to interact with this method that we're writing. Okay, public void. We are not returning anything. Okay, so now we want to give our method a name. Right, we want to give our method a name. What is the name we want to give our method? We want to give our method a name, which is click on About Us header menu. You want your method to make sense, right? Click on, can you see the difference now? This is a method, I'm starting it with capital letter and every other one. On, starting it with capital letter. About, starting it with capital letter. That is camera way of writing things. Then us, starting it with capital letter. Header, starting it with capital letter. Menu, starting it with capital letter. Okay, that is the name of our method. And then we'll put open and close brackets. Okay, we'll come off it and then put curly braces. Okay, we'll define our method and we want to write a code. Okay, or want to write an action that this method will perform when it's being called. Okay, and we'll now put our curly braces. Okay, and then click on enter. Right, now what do we want to do? We want our driver, enter, dot, find elements. We want our driver to find elements, okay? And the element we want it to find, we'll put it in bracket. What is the element we want to find? We want it to find this. And what is the variable name? This is the variable name, right? You copy it as it is. If you make mistake, it will not find it. Okay, copy it as it is. We want our driver to find this element. We want our driver to find this element, which is About Us header menu. Okay, and when it finds it, what do we want it to do? We want it to click, which is dot what? Click. Okay, we want it to click. Tab. Can you see? So we've inspect that element. Okay, we've stored it here with this variable name. Okay, we've written this method public void, click on About Us header menu, and we've called our driver to find this element, which is this one. Okay, and then perform a click. So what happens with this method? So this method is saying that driver should navigate to URL. Okay, and then this method is now saying that when driver has navigated to the URL, okay, now that driver should find this element, which is this one that we copied, okay, and then perform a click on it. That is just what we have done. So what do we do next? What we'll do next is to copy our method, okay, and call it from our step definition. So we'll go to our step definition. We'll remove this one. Right. So for us to be able to call before us to be able to call our page object into our step definition, recall that we've already created an instance of our page objects here in our step definition, and we'll have a constructor. Okay, this is the object. So every time we have a method and we want to call it here, you must call it in your step definition. And you do that with the help of your constructor, which is homepage, the same thing we did here. Okay, homepage. Okay, you can see it already. Homepage. Okay, dots. Right. Now paste your method. Okay, and then once you now paste your method, and then what do you do again? Once you've paste your method, okay, what do you do again? You close it, okay, with open and close brackets, because that's your method, open and close bracket, and then a semicolon. Right. So once we have done this, what do? We'll save. Okay. Once you've saved, you can clean and build, clean solution, then build solution. Okay. So let's go to our feature file and comment the ones that we haven't done yet. Let's go to feature file. So you can see these two steps. These ones we haven't defined the step definition. So let's comment it out. So what we'll have is two line now. Okay. Yes. Visit, I can see your hand up. Hold on. I'll come to you. So what we'll have is we'll now have two line here, which is giving user navigate to prime soft. And then when user click on about us on the header of the page. Okay. So when we run it, right, it would watch closely what happens. It will click, watch closely what happens. It will click on, yeah, it will navigate, watch it. It will not perform a click. Can you see? Can you see what happens? What happened? It navigates to the website, perform a click. I can remove this driver.close. Let me go to our page object. Let me remove this so you see exactly what happened. Okay. Now let me run it again. Let me run it again. You can see it's running. Okay, it's on the website now. You can see it has clicked on about us. Can you see Chrome is being controlled by automated tests? Can you see where we are? Can you see? Can you see we're on the page now? Right. So I'm going to close this. Right. Any question, Vincent? You can ask your question.
Oh, I just want to. What I want to ask is that that means with this particular process now we can actually go about our um, automated test like the one we've been assigned to, right?
Yes.
Because it's looking more clearer now. Seriously, it's looking more clearer.
Yes. So there's that ticket that you've been assigned to, right? You have to automate it using this way, going through that step definition, going through the acceptance criteria, writing it out just the way you would write your normal test case. Write it here on your feature file. Let me open the feature file. Write it here on the feature file, just as I've written this one. Right. Then create your step definition. Right. You know what you want to click. Right. Like for example, this one, we want to click on About Us. You go on the website, inspect the element of our About Us, come to your page objects, right, save it, just the way I've done it now. Then write the method, come to your step definition, and call it using the constructor the constructor that you've already defined here, and then call your method, run your test, it will pass. It's just as simple as that. Yes. Go ahead.
In our feature file, if you can just the feature file, please.
Okay, feature file.
We've run the click on About Us header menu.
Yes.
And the click on About Us header menu.
Yeah.
We've already seen the action.
Yes.
And we view the contact page. When you were teaching us automation, you told us that there are things you cannot test. Just like if you can call them or if you can really understand the business process model. So in tests like this, maybe if you're really maybe in a business setting, like you're writing your automated test, we don't think will you also write automation tests or then on this other getting these other scenarios. So these other steps. When you wrote that, the user can view about us page, and user can view the contact us section, and user can view
Yes. So,
When you
yes.
write up,
Yes. So the essence of this, because we've run it, right? We've run it and I went and scroll manually to show you that it's on that page, right? So now, if you complete all these ones, these are validation record that given is a initial contest, right? When is the action, which is we are performing click, then is the expected result, what we're expecting, right? Okay. So now, then when we perform a click, then user must view the about us page. This is where we now assert that that page opened. Okay, we will now assert that the contact us page is displayed on that website, and we'll also assert that the business hour displayed on that website. So now once you run it, it will just run and pass. So long as it passes, that means business hour is displayed and the contact us session is there as well. So watch as we do it. Okay, we are done with this first session. We want to uncomment this one and want to uncomment it. Okay, we've uncomment this one. You can see step up. We want to define the step. Okay, we'll right click as usual, go to step definition. We'll copy it from here. Yes, right. And then we'll go to our step definition. Step definition. Click on step definition. So we'll go to our step definition. I'm leaving. Take the tricks to this is you can see 1, 2 here before this class. You can see 1, 2. Okay, paste it in between the third and the second one. Can you see? And I'm pasting it. Can you see the tricks? These two must always remain here, so long as your automated test is set up this way. Okay, now you see where I'm pasting it. I've pasted it. So what do we want to verify here? We want to validate that user must view the about us page. Okay, so as usual, just like we always do, okay, what you need to do is you go to your website again. This is our website again. Because we've already done this, we've already clicked on this, so you click on it manually. And as you can see, once I click on it, it's elements. So I want to bring this down. So once I click on it, right. So I am on that page, about us page. Now you can see I'm on the about us page. So what do we want to validate to? We want to validate that we're on the about us page. We can decide to validate that this is visible. Okay, we can decide to validate that this is visible. Right. So how do we do it? Right. We click on this again and then click on this. Can you see? Once I've clicked on that, right, you can see this is what this is giving me. Right. So I can right click on here. So let me make sure I'm not copying the background color. Okay. So, right. So you can see. So once I right click here and copy experts, okay, and then go on here to, let me put this away because, let me put it away. And excuse me, I got a call. 1 second. Let me let someone in. Yes. So I believe you can hear me now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
All right. So what we'll do, we want to inspect this particular one. Okay. So like I said before, click on this and this one. Okay. Once you click on it, you can see it's here. Let me do it again. Click on this and come to the one you want to inspect. Click on it, you can see. So when we right click and copy expert, okay, and come here, Control F, because we want to paste it and see how our expert looks like, and then Control V. So you can see, once we click in front of it and click on enter, You can see that highlights, right? So this is the expert, the elements, okay, for this particular side. So we'll copy it, already copied it. We'll go back to our automated test framework, okay, and go to our page objects. Right, that's where we'll store it. We'll come here, okay. You already know that we save it here. So we'll come in front of this one and then click on enter. Repeat the same code again. Private by, okay. So what do we want to name it? Okay. What do we want to name that particular element? A name that makes sense. Okay. We can call it, sorry,
Background test.
background test. That's okay,
That's what it
background.
is.
Okay, sorry. Okay, we can call it about, we can call it about, okay, we can call it primed soft about us back, because you need to make sense. Background test. Okay, prime soft about us background test. Right. We can now say equal to, you can see it makes sense when we say it's prime soft about us background test. Okay. So now we can now say equal to, by the same method, the same way we did it, by dots. What way, how did we copy the expert, the elements is by what experts? By expert, click on expert and click enter. Put your open and close bracket, put your quotation mark and paste that element. Okay, once you've pasted it, we can now end it with semicolon. The same thing we did again, but this time around, note the difference. So the other one we did was to click. We are not returning anything. We are not asserting. Okay, we only perform a click. But for this one, we want to assert that it's true, that that's in displayed. So this is how we write our method for this one, because we want to return true or false if that test is displayed. So this is how we write it now. Now we are on the method section. Note, we are storing the elements here and we are writing the method here. Okay, now we'll start again the same way. Public, okay. This time around, it's not going to be void. It's going to be bool, because we want to return true or false. We want to return true or false. Okay, it's not going to be what? Void again. It's going to be what? Bool. So when I say public bool, can you see what we did? Public bool, okay. So is, can you see? Is public, this is the method, how we are writing our method now. Public bool is this name. Copy it. Is, I'm changing that to capital letter. So capital letter. Public bool is prime soft about us background test displayed. Can you see the method now? Then the same thing we did, we'll add our open and close brackets, okay, and we'll enter our curly braces, click on enter. Okay, so this is, you can see it has written it for us already. So now we are no longer, we're not saying find element, we are now starting it with return. Okay, space, driver, dot find element. We will enter the name in the bracket, the name of our variable name, okay, here, just like we did on the other one. Okay, then outside, because we are not performing dot click, what we are doing is dot what? Displayed. You can see it's coming up for us. Click on dot displayed, and then you end it with a semicolon. Can you see? Note the difference. This is assertion. This came here by default, so we don't want it. Can you see? The other one is dot click because we want to click, but this one we are asserting. Okay, so you can see how we wrote it. Public bool is prime soft about us background test displayed. Return driver dots, because we are returning true or false. return driver dot find elements, okay, prime soft about us page, about us background text dot displayed. So what do we do next? We go to, we'll copy this method, okay, copy it, and this is the method we copied. We'll go to our step definition. We'll go to our step definition, and we'll remove this. Okay, once we've removed that, what we'll do is we want to assert. Okay, we want to assert. Once we remove that, and how do we assert? Okay, we'll assert by saying assert okay, dot, right, is true. You can see assert dot fail. So we'll click on is true. Assert is true, right? You open your brackets, open and close. You write your constructor. You see that constructor here. You write it. You can see before we always write it here. Write it inside the bracket. Homepage. Okay. Dots. Your method. You can see it here. The method is appearing here. Is prime soft. Okay. Background text displayed. If it doesn't appear here, you type it. But it appeared here, so we'll copy it. Put there. Okay. Once you've copied it, right. So what do you do next? Once you've copied it, okay, you will enter your semicolon. Okay. And don't forget, because it's a method, you put your open and close bracket. Right. So once you've done that, okay, you can see everything is okay. Right. You save. So when you go back to your feature file, you can see, and it hasn't changed to white because we haven't clean and build. So let's just build. You don't have to be cleaning all the time. You just build. Once we build, you see it will turn to white, meaning that it has been, okay, let's build solution. Yeah, you can see build succeeded. You can see that it has been defined. So once we run our test, right, what happens is it will navigate to the website, it will click on about us, and it will assert that this is displayed. So let's run it. You see, let's go to our website. The website is here. It will click on that, then it will assert that that is displayed, and then it will close. Okay, did we comment our, let's see if we did comment it out. Okay, I think we commented our hooks. We commented this out. That's why it's not closing. Okay, we commented it out. So let me just remove it. So it will close. It doesn't keep leaving our, yes, save. Okay, so you can see we have run that 3 steps. If I open our test, open test log, you can see our test log. This is our test log. You can see giving user navigate to PrimeSoft, done, right? When user click on about us on the header of the page, you can see done. Then user must view the homepage. You can see it's done. Can you see? So our test passed. Can you see? So now let me close this. Now, what is the next thing to do from our step? Okay, we'll have and user can view the contact us section. Right. You can see the contact us section. Let me remove that. All right. And I would have to right click again, go to definition again, click on yes, and go to my step definition. Remember, I always check this true, and I paste it between this one. Click on this, enter yes, space, and then click on yes. Paste it. Okay. Now you've pasted it, you go again. This one is you want to view the contact us section. You go back to your website, scroll down, you can see the contact us section. So you want to assert that this contact us section is displayed. How do you do that? You click on this again, come to this section. So depending on what you want to, you can decide to, okay, validate this one. You can decide to validate this one. Okay, whichever one. So you can, because obviously this is the most important one, these two, right? You can decide to validate the header, this one. You can decide to validate that this one is displayed. So let's validate that this one is displayed. So we'll click on it. This is it. Okay. You can decide to do it one after the other. You can decide to validate that this one is displayed. You can decide to validate that this two is displayed. Okay. So anyhow you want to do it is up to you. Okay. You can decide to do it one after the other. Okay. Which is even much more better. Okay. But for the sake of this, I would validate these two at once. You can see if I want to validate only this one, I'll click on this. This is the element to validate just that one. So if I'm doing it, okay, I will choose to validate this one separately and choose to validate this one separately, but I will do it under the same line. But let's do it together. Okay, and then we'll copy the elements. We'll right click on that highlighted blue side, copy the elements. Now let's copy by CSS selector. I've been doing experts, so don't think it's only experts. You can see CSS selector. So let's copy by we'll copy selector. Let's copy selector. Okay, and paste it. We'll paste it here. Selector is too long. You can see selector is long. Okay. Expert is always shorter. Let's see. Expert. You don't want to copy. You don't want to use a very long element. This is too long. So it's always better to use a shorter one. Okay. That is too long. We don't want it. Let's look at this one. Let's copy the elements. I can decide to write it and make it shorter. Okay, but I don't want to confuse anyone. You see, expert is shorter. So let's use experts. CSS is too long. Okay, so we'll copy experts. All right. So now we've copied experts. Okay, we can now go to our automated test, go to our page object. The same way what you did the first time is the same thing we are going to do again, just the same way. Click on here and write private, the same by, okay, this time around it's going to be contact us section. Okay, contact us section. Okay, equal to by what means dot experts. You can see once you click on by, this will come up by default. You now select which one you want and click on enter, equal to, not equal to, and then open and close brackets, and then enter your semicolon, enter your quotation mark, paste your elements inside your quotation mark, and go at the end of it and put what? Your semicolon. Okay, the same thing we did here. Okay, under, be mindful of this last two, under here, we'll come back, give space again by clicking on enter, public. I didn't copy that contact us section, we can write it. So you now say public again, because you are returning, you want to validate that this is displayed. You still use bool. The only time you don't use bool is, the only time you use void is when you are clicking or you are sending something. You want to enter something inside the field, like when you will do registration and when you will do login, right? You are entering something into, you're entering your username. You don't use bool, you use public void. Okay. When you are clicking, you use public void. They are not returning anything, but this one you are returning either true that is displayed or not. You use bool. Bool is contact us. Can see I'm doing a capital letter. Contact us section displayed. Okay, close bracket. Outside the open and close bracket, you put your curly braces and click on enter. Then you return, right, space driver dot find elements. Okay, you can see it's just having me to write it. Then be mindful how you write it. You must write it to match with this one. So I will always advise you to come and copy it. So you don't go and start one with small letter and one with, and it will not match, and you'll be wondering why your code is not passing. Okay, copy it and then enter it inside. Okay, dots, outside dots. What displayed? That's it. It has came out. Dot display. You can just tab to agree. All right. Now copy your method. Go back to your step definition as usual. Okay, go back to your step definition. Remove this code and write the same thing because you are certain. Assert Okay, dot is true. Right, you can see dot is true. Okay, then open brackets. Then home page, your constructor is what you're writing now. You can see once you know what you're doing, it's coming up. You just click on it and enter. Dots. You can see it's contact us displayed. You can see it's coming up. That is what IntelliSense is doing for us. Okay. So IntelliSense is suggesting. And then you put your open and close brackets. And then outside you put your semicolon. That's it. Right. So when we save, want to save and build. When we save and build. All right. I'll go back to our feature file to see. Don't necessarily need to go back to your feature file, but you can see. So when we run it, so what will happen is that it will go to the website again, click on About Us, and voila, it validates. Okay. And then the last one, let's comment this out. This one is the business hour. We also want to do that one, the business hour. Control, go to definition, copy it, go to our step definition. You can see 1, 2, want to paste it here in between. Okay. Then the next thing, we'll go to our website again. This is our website. This time around, want to copy the elements of this one, right? Come here, click on this, and let's copy this one. All right. Right click, copy, export. Okay. Paste it. Let's see if it is long and if it is 1 of 1. You can see it's fine and it's 1 of 1. So we'll go back to our automated test and go to our page objects. Okay, and scroll where we are storing our elements. You can see all the elements we were storing it. Okay, then click on private, write private the same way, just the same thing. So if I'm doing this, that is business hour. Now, okay, business hour. So that is business hour. If I am, so what that is business hour, right? Start with small letter, business hour, right? Right? So, yes. Okay, so we'll go back and okay, equal to yes, by dots. Expert, open and close brackets, and then you paste. Okay, and then right. Now, what do you do next? Okay. You come here, the same thing that you will do. The same thing. So if I want to do this quicker, I don't want to confuse you. But what I will do, if I'm just the only one testing it, what I will do is I'll just copy this particular one, copy it, okay? But don't do it. But if you're able to do it, you can do it. Copy this and paste it. I've duplicated code, okay? But it will throw error for me. So what I will do is I will just remove this section because we're not talking about contactors. And I will enter business hour. And under here, I will change it again as business. So please, if you can see, I'm done with that. Just so easy. If it's better you write it one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, until you become comfortable, then you can start. So if I'm to do this, like let's say I'm doing this at work, it won't take me all this time. Because I'll just copy, paste, 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 just keep changing it. Before you know it, I'm done. Okay. So now you can see I'm done with this. Now, again, because I'm asserting, I go back to my step definition. Right. So at work, okay, how I would do it, or if I'm doing it, just copy it because I'm asserting as well. Just copy this because it's the same. All right, paste it here. And then the only thing I need to remove is this contact us and change it with business hour. business hour. Right, you can see business hour done. So, well, yeah, write it one after the other. Write it one after the other. Okay, yeah, seems like making a mistake with the business. I'm putting one S. Which one is the correct one? Yeah, it's one S. Okay, I made mistake on the step definition. Anyway, that's fine. Just, yeah, anyway, that's fine. So, yeah, you can see once I've saved that and then built my solution, okay, build my solution. Let's see this, the feature file, yes, and then this is the final version. We've written the step, giving user navigate to URL. We've clicked on about us. We have viewed the home page. We've viewed that we've assert or validate that the contact us page is displayed, and we validate that the business hour is displayed. So when we run our the final version of our test, so let's see what we have. Can you see? Voila. Our test. Note that the element we are copying here, the element we are saving here, we're just copying the S part. For now, okay, we'll continue to copy the S part until we go through how to write your own element and make it even more shorter. Okay, we won't go into it now because there's actually a lot to learn. Okay, and that will can come to that later. But you can see it's doing its work. Okay, and you can see as the element. So that is it. Okay, that is how to write it. It's the same step, the same thing over and over again. You set up your framework, right? All you just need to do is write your feature file, define the step, go to the website, inspect the element, store it like this, come here, write the element, go back to your step definition, call it using this constructor, the instance of your page object you created here, call it using that. Either you are clicking or you are calling your method here. If it is assertion, where then you write it this way. Note, this is Fluent assertion. We'll have NUnit assertion, which we will do much later. Okay, for us to do NUnit assertion, okay, we will have to add another library. Okay, we'll have to add NUnit library, but we are doing Fluent assertion because we have Fluent assertion library. Okay, that's it. Any question?